Yes, I am finally back home. My God, that was the longest trip in the history of trips. Normally, I'm only out for move over a little bit, a couple of days, 2 to 3 days at a time. This was out for a week. Oh my God. Um, so it's warm here in Salt Lake City. It's like 60 something degrees, which is crazy. Um, and I got to go to Target to get cat food. Dry cat food so that she doesn't run out the next time I go out. She's hiding. She's being weird today. I don't know what's up. I also realized I just accidentally dressed like Marty McFly from uh, Back to the Future. So really, being in that last video I posted was sort of a heavy topic and a long video. I'm not doing that this time. We're going to talk about some stuff that is uh I didn't make a list like I should have made. Hold on. So let me get over here to my computer real quick and pull up my Google Keep. And I'll have to keep referring to this. um, so really today, I just want to talk about something fun. Now, somebody commented a little earlier and said, I want more whiskey content, some bourbon core. It's Sunday. I just got back home today. So in Salt Lake City, you cannot buy liquor on a Sunday. It's a weird thing. I know. It actually was like that in North Carolina and Pennsylvania when I lived there too, so I'm used to it. So I couldn't go get any bourbon. I don't want to drink the honey whiskey today. So what does a man do when he can't find bourbon? Well, he gets beer. This is beer. Yes, I do drink. I drink beer, not as much as I used to. This is actually my nose is itching. Oh my God, who's talking about me? Isn't that what it's supposed to be? So this is from Proper Brewing Company here in Salt Lake City. I've never had this one. I've been to several different breweries, but I just never had to try this or got to try this one out. So for Proper Brewing Company here in Salt Lake City, called Yacht Rock Juice Box. And it's an IPA, and normally I don't like IPA, but I actually love juicy or citrus IPA, and this is a juicy India Pale Ale. So let's see what it might taste like. I'm going to have to put this microphone down so I can properly pour this beer. So, as I said, I want to talk about something not as heavy of a subject, something kind of fun, something kind of relatable, and laugh about things. Because this last one was not very laughable. This is supposed to be a pint glass. I think they lied. That's not a whole pint. So I get to taste what it tastes like out of the can, right? Very hoppy, which, if you like IPA, you're going to like that. I actually like sweeter citrus and juicy IPA. I think citrus IPAs might be a little sweeter in general. I don't know. My favorite beer actually is Voodoo Ranger Juice Force, which is, let me pick this up. But yeah, that's my favorite beer in general. Actually, second favorite. My favorite beer is Dragon's Milk, which is a little bit hard to find sometimes. But yeah, it's decent out of the can. But let's see what it tastes like out of a pint glass, like you're supposed to be drinking it. A little more flat. It's not as hoppy. Isn't that interesting? How the can and the glass can completely change the flavor profile of a beer or a whiskey. I did get me a Glencairn glass for whiskey tasting. I've been wanting to get one. Finally, just ordered one. Kept forgetting. I need to move on. So, actually, I don't need to move on. It's whiskeys and wisdom. So, be talking about whiskey. I don't have any whiskey. I talk about beer. Deal with it. So, today we're going to talk about things that men like. And some of them are really dumb, but we like them anyway. Of course, men in general, I think a lot of women, I've never met a woman who also didn't like guitars. So I obviously like guitars. There's a few here. Um, Look, I got a little bit of belly right now because I just ate the most amazing New York strip and mushroom and parmesan ravioli that I got, and I just made it all together. I made way too much food and just ate it, and now I'm like Winnie the Pooh right now. But anyway, I got two Schecters. The red and the blue one are Schecters. Somebody actually thought that blue one might be a PRS, and it does look like one. I'm realizing that. And in the middle is an Explorer type guitar, but I didn't get the actual Gibson Explorer because those are ungodly expensive. That's actually a Firefly, which is a Chinese ripoff company. They make a lot of like signature style guitars, but really well made. That does sound like Metallica. So it's awesome. I'll play guitar on the channel one day. God, I'm so full, and I still have to go to Target after this. So anyway, yeah, everybody likes guns. Not guns, guitars. There's a YouTube channel called Guns and Guitars, actually. But yeah, I meant Matt and I mentioned guns because it's right in front of me. We like dumb stuff. I mean, men like guns. I know women like guns, but men especially like guns, and not just guns, but like crazy guns. So I got a couple. This thing looks like it just came out of like Call of Duty craziness. Like what? Yeah, this is my blip blap, my ghetto blip blap with the extended clip. And hush puppy. Actually, it's not a silencer. This is actually a linear compensator. Kind of directs sound away from you, but does not silence anything. It's not loaded. Don't worry. I'm not flagging the rest of the neighbors in here. It is not loaded. And, cool. Laser and light combo. I can't turn the light on right now. It's blinding. I'm not going to do that. So, yeah. Crazy guns that look like they came out of Call of Duty. Sometimes a gun that looks like it came out of freaking Halo. I have not been able to shoot this yet. This is a 12 gauge bullpup shotgun, and it's magazine fed like a rifle. So super cool there, light there. Bap. Obviously, I get excited about dumb stuff. But let's move on with the list because I don't want this to be more than 20 minutes. I'm going to try to talk about things pretty fast, and I can. So the list is way over here on my computer. Number one, we like stories. Who knew? Everybody likes stories, right? But the thing is, I think men especially, we really appreciate worn down old things that have a story to them. Really anything that has a story, worn down old things that have a story to them. I'm looking around. Do I have anything that I have a story about? Not really. I really don't. Because the thing is, like I explained in a previous video, I lost almost everything I had in a hurricane. So I don't have a lot of stuff. I've got old keepsake stuff, like awards and things like that. Like my dog tags are hanging up with my Army awards, things like that. So yeah, we like stories, but especially things with stories attached to them and storytelling. We like to tell stories. Who doesn't like an old bearded man sitting around a campfire telling stories? That's the manliest thing ever, man. So number two, a good stick. Literally just a stick. I don't know why we like, I guess I do know why. I thought about this earlier. And I get a lot of women like, why do men like sticks? Men are weird. Yeah, we are weird. We like sticks. But not just any stick. It's got to be a good stick. It's got to look like something. If we find a stick that looks super straight, guess what? We just found a cool stick. Oh my God, look at this stick. It's just a straight stick, man. Sticks are never straight. It's abnormal and cool. We can find a stick that looks like a gun. Pew pew, boy. We like that stick. We can find a stick that might look like a sword. I have not been drinking until this. I promise. I'm just happy because I'm home. I spent a week out and I wanted to be home so bad. Since I mentioned swords, men like swords. I don't have a sword. I really want to get a sword. I want a katana specifically, but honestly, if I just had stupid money that I could just blow on nothing, I would have a whole wall of swords like guitars. And I would just stand there and look at them and stare at them just because they're cool. I'd be like Vincent D'Onofrio, Kingpin, and Daredevil, just staring at art because a good sword is literally art. And also, it's nostalgic for us. Like every boy picked up sticks and played like lightsaber or pirates and samurai or knights and whatever. You know, we just like swords because it's plus it's cool. It's associated with like warriors type stuff. Also, the blacksmithing process is amazing. If you've never watched Forged in Fire, the TV show, go find it, go watch it. It is awesome how swords are actually made. It's a really good reality show. I don't really like many reality shows, but that's a really good one. Number next. I don't know how many there are. I already mentioned swords. Good stuff. A cool rock. If you smell like we like that rock too. But a cool rock, like just a really smooth rock, like the perfect skipping rock. Of course, we love that. That's amazing. Who doesn't like that? I know mainly men would be like, we get hot and bothered by a good rock or a rock that like looks like something. Like, why is this rock? Why is it oblong? Why does it look like an egg? Again, you might be thinking about the story behind the rock. Like, what? How long did it take for this rock to look like this? That's the stupid things we think of when we see a cool rock. Plus, we like throwing rocks. And when I was in the army, hanging out with the guys, and we had nothing to do, hurry up and wait. Typically, what we would do is pick up little rocks and throw them. That was how we passed the time. I don't know why, but it is universal. Every guy I know loves to do this shit. I'll never understand it myself. Sorry. Next. Now this is one of mine. And every time I mention it to another guy, he's like, "Oh my god, yeah, you're right." So far, most men that I've met really like the smell of diesel vapor, like from like a diesel truck or like a school bus or some equipment, working equipment and stuff like that. Like I was in the army trucks, diesel, the diesel vapor. And I'm not saying like sniff it and get high. It just for some reason smells. Uh, I can't understand it. It just smells good to me. If they, if there was a cologne that was like bourbon and diesel, I would 100% wear that cologne because that's a great smell. Bourbon is a good smell too. Like I have Cremo bourbon beard oil, and every woman I've ever dated is like, that smells amazing. Cremo bourbon vanilla, I think is what it was. I can't find it now. Um, Next, this is a gun guy thing. Spent brass. When you shoot, the smell of the burnt powder from the round, that smells great. I can't explain it. It just smells good. And every guy I know is like, that's good smell, boy. That's good smell. Next, we like trucks. Of course, trucks are, I want to say they're masculine, maybe, but I think what it is they're useful and practical and versatile. And men tend to like things that are practical, versatile, and useful. Now, I'm not talking about these guys that get their trucks and they squat the trucks, like the back end looking like a dog dragging its butt across the floor. I'm talking about real trucks that you use for work, like a work truck. Obviously, a nice luxurious truck is good too. But I don't like a lot of guys will get trucks as like a status symbol just because it makes them look more masculine. When really, sometimes they get these trucks and these look like they're overcompensating. You know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. But I grew up around trucks. I actually learned to drive in a truck. My grandpa, I was like probably 4 or 5 years old. I'm not even kidding. I was somehow tall enough to reach the pedal and steer, but I couldn't sit all the way back. So no seatbelt. We were not on the road. We were on little dirt roads on the farm I grew up on. And my grandpa taught me to drive in like an 87 or 88 big black Dodge Ram. That was back when they still had that big ram head on the hood. And I love that truck. You know, I love that truck. The more I look back on it, the more one day I will have the money to just blow and get a truck like that. I want that exact one. Trucks. Men just like trucks. It's a manly thing. I don't have to explain it. We like trucks. There's plenty of reasons why trucks are great. I wish they didn't cost $80,000 now. That needs to change. Jesus. Next. Uh, this women hate this one. Women absolutely despise this one, and I understand why, but still, just go with it. We hate asking for directions. Now, I'm not really talking about the guys that won't ask for directions and they have a terrible sense of direction. Like that's not great. You need to ask for directions if you're getting lost, man. I have legitimately never been lost in my entire life. Never. And it's because, well, I do have a good sense of direction, but also I was a Boy Scout. One of the biggest things they teach them in Boy Scouts is how to read a map and how to navigate landscapes, even without a map. You just know where to go using stars, using the sunset, the time of day, things like that. So, and a compass. Like I learned to navigate really well in general as a child. And then I kept that going because then I got in the military. Boom, navigation is huge in the military. When I went to Warrior Leader course, I actually was in school there with a few Rangers and a couple of Special Forces guys. Like everybody, if you're getting ready to get promoted to an NCO sergeant, you have to go to Warrior Leader course, or at least you did then. And I was in there with a bunch of Rangers. I actually finished the navigation course before the Rangers did. I wasn't. I just felt good about that, but I written one number down wrong or something like that. It was just a little mistake, and I still hit all the points and still finished first. Like I did it perfect, but I wrote a number down wrong. And the guy was like, "Attention to detail, failed." It's like I failed the course, but I beat the Rangers. I don't care. But yeah, we hate asking for directions. I think part of that is because we like to figure things out. Um, it's not us being like an ego thing. It's like we want to figure things out because when we figure things out on our own, it makes us feel good. It makes us feel like we did something useful and constructive, even though sometimes it's not. Just got to let us go with it. If it's not hurting anything, just let the man go, as long as it's not going to make you late to a wedding. Um, next is a garage fridge. Oh, yeah. Every guy loves this. A lot of women like this. The garage fridge. And you know what it's for. It's to pack it full of freaking beer. Mm. That's actually better if you take a big gulp. It actually tastes better. If you don't, yeah. Don't worry, y'all. I'm not driving after this to Target. Target is literally right behind me. So I'm going to walk. I'm going to take one of my blip blaps and I'm going to walk. But yeah, the garage fridge, everybody likes that. And specifically also shitty chairs. I mean like bad chairs that are broken and crap. And also those chairs should be around that fridge because those chairs, you'll have some good chairs and a couple of shitty chairs. And the shitty chair is for the guy that when you call your boys to hang out, the one guy that gets there last gets the shitty chair. And his name might be Dave. I don't know. This is just me speculating. His name could be just Dave. Now, Dave, you got to hear your last, man. You got to get the shitty chair. And everybody laughs. And it creates memories. I don't know if specifically every guy does this, but yeah, I think about that like the shitty chair. Oh, you got to get the shitty chair. Like every guy, if he has a garage fridge full of beer and some chairs, there's always one really crap chair. And everybody kind of either fights over not having to sit in that chair or a guy just accepts it and laughs it off. It creates memories. Boom. Easy. That's why. That was a pretty good explanation, wasn't it? Yeah. Next, old power cables. Every guy I know, a lot of women I know, have a box full of old power cables. Just like like cables, little things, because you never know when you'll come across something and you'll just need a replacement cable. Maybe a cable dies. You need to get another one. USB, USB mini, USB micro, USB C, lightning cables, TV cable, extra power cable, extension cable. You'll need something one day. So actually, the TV that I have in my my truck, I went in Best Buy one day. I was looking specifically for a 32-inch TV for my truck, and I found that one it was open box clearance. It was stupid cheap, stupid cheap. It didn't have a remote or a power cable. Now I knew, it was a Roku TV, just like my one here, so I knew I could just order an extra Roku remote on Amazon and have it here the next day. So that's what I did. And I had an extra power cable because most electronics now, for some reason, are using the Sony style power cable. So I have like several of those. So anything that uses that power cable, I can just have an extra cable, and it's great. I actually keep a cable in my truck, and I got the cable here. So if I like move my PlayStation around, I've just got that extra cable and just plug it in instead of having to take the cables too. That's why it's just smart and being prepared. Boy Scouts, be prepared. Or Scar, be prepared. Yeah, that's the best Disney movie, by the way. We're almost done. The old power cables. I already said swords. This is the last one. Quietness and stillness. Most men appreciate this. And I'm not meaning a woman that's quiet. I know a lot of guys say that. I'm not that guy. I know a lot of guys are not that guy to just tell their wife to shut up. But keep in mind, men like quietness and stillness for a reason, because it allows us to relax. I'll tell you a story. I live a pretty like stressful, like crazy, like moving around all the time life as a trucker. Always moving, always doing something. It's always loud. And that could equate to a lot of guys. Like a lot of guys have stressful, loud jobs, construction, or maybe we work in a factory or something like that. A lot of guys, so when there is finally quiet, when there is finally peace, we love it. This cat has gotten herself stuck in the couch. If you hear her, she's not actually stuck. She acts stuck. She can get out, and she will get out as soon as she wants to. I need to take a beer. Drink a beer. So when we finally have that quiet and that peace, we really appreciate it. And also, it just lets us think. Men like to think. Most men. Now I know there's a lot of men who really don't want to be in their own head, and that's the point where you should seek therapy, talk to somebody, make sure you're good. If you don't like being in your own head, you got to talk to somebody to try to get around that, because it's helpful, it's useful for a man to think. Just think about life, be a little philosophical, read a book, something. It's good to be just quiet and still sometimes to relax. I'll tell you a story real quick. Back when I lived in North Carolina, before my kid was born, we weren't married yet. We didn't get married till we had a kid, but I was with my ex-wife. So there's an ice storm coming, and ice storms in eastern North Carolina can be really, really, really bad. So we knew it was going to be bad. Everybody was forecasting it to be terrible. Don't drive. Don't go out. The power is going to go out because that's typically what would happen. And in this time it was worse. This is the storm that also hit Atlanta and like shut down Atlanta. Yeah, it was going to be bad. We knew it was going to be bad. So she decided to just leave and go to her parents who lived in Charlotte. Now, we couldn't, for some reason, take my dog, which is the big white Malamute I used to have. Couldn't take him. And I didn't want to leave him there because the power is going to go out and it's going to get really cold. And he would be cold, even though he's Malamute. I don't want him to like freeze. So I'm like, I'm just going to stay here. And she's like, okay, that makes sense. So the house we were staying in was this like old house, and it was like an old man that owned it, and he had like chopped or like partially chopped firewood. And in the kitchen, this is really cool, there was a wood stove in the kitchen. Now I grew up in a home that also had a wood stove in the den area. So that to me was just nostalgic in the first place. I love wood stoves. That's super cool. So of course she leaves, storm rolls in, power goes out. It's just me and the dog. And I went outside, and this, like, it was a storm. It was raining. It was freezing cold. I chopped up some wood inside a shed. It was like a covering so that the wood wasn't wet. And I wrapped it up, brought the wood in, and just built a fire in the wood stove. And I cooked my dinner. I don't remember what the dinner was, but I cooked my dinner on the wood stove with my dog and just sat there chilling in silence. Ate my food. And I don't know. I don't think I read a book. Maybe I was music. I can't remember what I did, but it was quiet. It was just still and relaxing. Just a man and his dog with a wood stove. That was one of the coolest nights I've ever spent by myself. It was awesome. And I would do it again over and over because it was just, one, it felt masculine, it felt manly, And it brought back my childhood memories of like camping and being a Boy Scout. And I hadn't went camping in a long time at that point. I go a good bit now, but then I didn't. So it just felt great. It felt great to relax like that and just have some stillness, be with my dog, and just chill. Just chill. And it wasn't cold. That wood stove warmed up the whole house. It was great. Quietness and stillness, and just little things like that. So I'm not even going to finish this beer yet. I'm going to go to Target so that I can get the cat some cat food so she doesn't die. 25 minutes. That's not bad. Usually I hit 30, right? All right, folks. That's it. That's it. Lighthearted, dumb things that men like. We don't know how to explain it all the time. We just like stuff. Y'all have a good one.